Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm Aki. Finance can feel a little gray and complicated sometimes, right? Well, today we're going to tell you a super colorful story about a secret garden, a maverick gardener, and one big idea that made the entire world of money just bloom.
And I'm Ren. Okay, so let's be real for a sec. When you think bonds, do you think of heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat excitement? Yeah, probably not. And you know what? For a very, very long time, you would have been totally right. They were kind of the sleepy, quiet corner of the investing world. Exactly. Before our story really gets going, the world of bonds was basically like a very, very quiet garden. I mean, you'd plant your seeds, which are just loans you give to a company or the government, and then you just wait. Welcome to the era of coupon clipping. Wait, hold on a second. Seriously? You mean they literally clipped coupons? Like with actual scissors? That sounds like something out of an old black and white movie. So you'd have this piece of paper and you'd physically cut a piece off and march it down to the bank? Wow, that totally changes how I picture it. Oh yeah, it was that manual. So the old strategy was a really simple three-step process. First, you plant your bond seed, you buy it, and you tuck it away somewhere safe. Then you collect your flowers. Those were the little interest payments you'd get. And finally, you just wait for the harvest, which meant getting your original money back at the very end. Super patient and super, super predictable. But then along came a totally new kind of gardener. His name was Bill Gross, and he looked at this quiet, sleepy little garden, and he saw something that nobody else did. He saw the potential for a super garden, just bursting with life and energy and activity. And here's what's so fascinating about Bill Gross. He wasn't your typical stuffy investor at all. Sure, he had an MBA, he was a Navy vet, but get this. His secret weapon was that he used to be a professional blackjack player. And that experience is what taught him how to calculate odds, how to manage risk, and how to spot when something was undervalued. Skills that were about to change finance forever. Ooh, okay, so this was his big aha moment. He realized that the bond itself, that little seed you planted, wasn't just sitting there. Its value could actually go up and down long before it was time for the final harvest, which meant, and this is the big part, you didn't just have to sit around waiting to collect your little flower payments. You could actually trade the seeds themselves for a profit. And just like that, a whole new philosophy was born. We are officially leaving the quiet little garden patch behind, and we're entering the super garden, a whole new ecosystem built on this amazing, magical concept called total return. So total return is all about seeing the full picture of how your investment is growing. It's not just about those cute little flowers you get from the coupon payments. It's also about checking to see if the seed itself, the bond, has become more valuable over time. So it's the flowers plus any change in the seed's own value. Exactly. And the formula is just that simple and cute. You take your flower, that's your coupon payment, and you add whatever change there is in your seed's value, which is just the bond's price. You put them together and ta-da! That's your total return. It's like a little magic recipe for financial growth. Okay, and this chart right here shows why that idea was such a game changer. So look, if interest rates in the world stay the same, you just get your coupon, maybe 5%. That's the old sleepy way. But if market interest rates fall, your older bond with its higher coupon suddenly becomes way more valuable. Its price goes up, and your total return could jump to like 10% or even more. That's the secret sauce. When interest rates go down, existing bond prices go up. All of a sudden, bonds weren't just about waiting anymore, they were about timing and trading. And with this one brilliant idea, Bill Gross went and co-founded a company called PIMCO. It started out as this teensy tiny little team, like a small corner of the garden, right? But it was fueled by this magic of total return. And it just grew, and then it grew some more, until it was this massive financial jungle that covered the entire globe. And the scale of that growth is it's mind-boggling. At its peak, PIMCO was managing over $2 trillion. Just let that sink in for a second. All of that value, all of that power in the financial world, all grown from one single revolutionary thought, that a sleepy little bond seed could be exciting. But even the most beautiful, magical super gardens can face some stormy weather. The story of the Bond King is absolutely incredible, but it also has some really important lessons for all of us about what can happen when things start to go a little bit wrong. This timeline really shows you the whole incredible journey. I mean, he started in the 70s, literally clipping coupons. For
For the next 30 years, he builds this massive empire and just seems unbeatable. But then, in the 2010s, the magic started to wear off. There were some bad calls, and investors got nervous. And that led to him leaving the very company he built in 2014 and then retiring a few years later. It's really the full story, from the mailroom to the throne, and then into exile. Yeah, and it wasn't just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. I think this quote really gets to the heart of it. As his funds started to slip, his famous, kind of eccentric personality went from being a fun quirk to being a real problem. It just goes to show you that, in the world of money, trust and confidence are just as important as the math. People got scared, and his beautiful garden just began to wither. So let's bring this back to us. What can we learn from all this for our own little money gardens? Well, this huge shift that Bill Gross started, from just passively waiting to actively trading, it created a whole world of new opportunities and, yeah, new risks for all of us. He basically gave everyone a whole new way to garden, and now we just have to ask ourselves what kind of gardener we want to be. And really, that's the big question for you to think about. Are you a patient gardener, someone who's happy to plant your seeds and just wait for those predictable, steady little flowers? Or are you a more active gardener, someone who's ready to get in there, trade your investments, and chase that exciting total return? You know, there's no single right answer, but thanks to Bill Gross, we all get to make that choice. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.